Welcome to Pod Time. I'm one of your co-hosts, Arlie.
I'm Casey.
And I'm Patrick. Hi,
Hi,
brother.
brother.
Hi.
Not you.
Yeah, that's right. Don't. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
He did
I
well.
told
He
you.
did well. We discussed this heavily.
Yeah.
I got
Not
my
in the brotherhood
mouse.
this
I
week.
got my mouse hovered right over him right now. I could boot him.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
good.
he didn't say brother, so he's good, I think.
I caught myself. I just said hi.
No,
You
you did good. You did
you were
good.
trying.
I'm surprised about that because we know you lost the brother game last week, fair and square. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Oh,
but I
was.
really?
had an
Fair and square,
idea.
huh?
Yeah,
Square.
Yeah.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Square.
If
There-
memory serves. But yes, I have an
Memory
idea for the
serves.
next game that I wanted to discuss with you guys. And it's a game that it's a tweak on a game that they played on a Halloween special of Tell 'em Steve Dave, where it's called A Southern Gentleman's Askewed View. Does that ring a bell?
Vaguely,
No,
the
but
title, yeah.
It was a Jeopardy style game, and this category was Maxwell, and he was summarizing a movie, but from a different person's point of view, like a different person in the movie, or just how somebody else could interpret it.
Yeah.
So I had the idea of doing a like a woke retelling of a movie plot or synopsis, and then you would have to guess the movie from the woke retelling of it. Like this is how a woke person now would perceive that movie.
I'm for it.
What do you guys think about that?
Would we get in
I'm
trouble if we mocked this fake woke person's recounting of what happened?
No.
Good. I'm gonna shit on them so bad.
I'm 100% confident of it. So I have a couple of names. I have a few names I wanted to run by you guys. I'm not 100% satisfied with any of them, but if you guys really like them, we can go with one of those. Or you can think of some yourselves to throw in now, or just throughout the week or whenever. Before we play it, we have to come up with a name though. The first one is Woke Real, like REEL, Woke Real. Second one is PC Plot. Oh, that was one that Chat GPT came up with, but I'm going to add the word device in it. PC Plot Device. I think that sounds a little bit better. Then one I came up with is fairy tale, fair woke tale, fair woke tale,
I
and
like that
then
one.
a play on the word remake, but it's reawake. Not satisfied with any of them, but those are the best that I've come up with so far. So I'm definitely looking for some input there.
I actually happen to like Fair Woke Tales.
Fair woke tales.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put I'm gonna put a star by that one.
Fair woke tales.
fair woke tales.
I feel like there's a contradiction in there somewhere. I'm not sure.
Okay, what about something with foam face? Could we do something with that?
It's kind of along the same lines as Riri.
Yeah. All right, so we'll think about it. If anything comes to mind, throw it out. Otherwise, I will keep
Sorry.
trying to figure something out myself. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. But I'm pretty excited about that. I think it could be a cool game. I come up with one game another time that I call Woke or Joke that I might try to bring back also, which was taking like a real like tweet or whatever from a woke person and then coming up with two tweets of my own and reading them off, and you have to guess which one is the real woke tweet.
I'm up for playing it.
Total.
I like that name though, Woke or Joke. I like that. If I do a round of that, I'm keeping that name. All right.
It sounds like it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you guys are interested. I will keep working on that, and I will bring it to the forefront whenever it is ready, and then we'll give Casey another shot at the Brotherhood. See if he can hold on to it for a little bit longer. But
Yeah. Without the asterisk next to it, hopefully. Fucking cheaters.
no, that game was
There's
fair.
no asterisk. It's a 100% win.
You didn't want me a part of it, so you gave him a win. It's
If
okay.
anything, even if
whole
we go with
audience,
your theory, it's two asterisks.
the
They
whole,
cancel each other out. So
We
yeah,
don't
wasn't there
want
two asterisks?
we don't
Wasn't there
want
two
you in
asterisks?
this brotherhood, right, brother?
right.
Okay, I don't want to be in the brotherhood anyway. Never mind.
That with an accent like that. That's a
What?
clear.
I'm distancing myself right now again. Probably the second time I've had to distance myself in
No,
this pod because of how
no.
like it could be for a black couple to be a power couple. Apparently,
It's
Yeah.
not that it's weird, it's the fact that it's purposeful.
So the
Is
accent,
They
the
can't do
accent.
it any other way. They aren't allowed to do it any other way.
So you're saying if I say that same sentence without that accent, it's not the same
Why?
thing? We don't want you in this brotherhood anyway, right, brother?
Right, brother.
Does that sound any better?
I'm just gonna fade away here. Well, this
It's
moment here.
You know, he's gonna be ready. He acts like you don't want it, but he's gonna be right there. His accent's gonna be thicker than yours, 10 times thicker.
you look more like the people that would say that and mean it than we do.
We both have beards. I don't know what you're talking about.
I got a goatee.
Dude, your picture behind you looks just like me.
I would say it looks like me. Watch.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that side profile. Look at that right there. Look at that.
Turn your head
Mhm.
slightly to the left. Oh, other left. I must be seeing you backwards.
Where are you seeing backwards, him or me?
I have no idea. I don't know what's going on right now.
You couldn't tell which one was me in these, right?
Yeah, I was losing. That's why I was confused because I was losing track. I saw 3 of them there, and I wasn't sure
Wait, where'd he
which
go?
one was the right one.
I'm right here. The one in the
Okay,
middle.
Yeah. Oh, clumsy me. All right. What's on your guys' minds? Have you guys watched anything good lately?
Uh,
Not like full
No.
review good, but you know.
I mean, I've been binging the Grey's Anatomy show for a while now.
Hmm.
I got sucked into it when I kept seeing clips online, and I was like, well, let me check this show out. And now I'm in the 14th season out of 19. So
Good lord! I didn't realize that show went on that long. I've never seen an episode, but I've heard a lot about it.
yeah, I didn't realize how long that show has been going on too. It's pretty much like almost everybody that you would fall in love with in the beginning of the series is now fallen out of it like halfway through the series.
Oh, it's like a
But
whole new group of people.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think it was like 3 people. I want to say there was like 3 to 4 people that were on it from the very beginning,
Mhm.
and one of them finally left the show that the show is almost named after. It's like a play on words. Like you have Grey Anatomy, you know, like the term Grey Anatomy,
Oh, they got
and
their own show,
mixed
like a
in with the
spin-off
last
show.
name. No. I mean, there actually is a spinoff. I found out, but that's not what I'm talking about. She actually just the main character Meredith Grey. Apparently, this was her last season.
Mhm.
It wrapped up last year, and they're like starting on the 20th season soon. But she left the show in the 19th season finally, which only leaves, I believe, only 2 people.
Hmm.
As far as I'm aware. I mean, like I said, I still have 5 seasons to go to catch up, but yeah, there was only like 4 main original characters up until like at least the 14th season. So
Oh wow, that's crazy. I had no idea it was on that long.
yeah, neither did I. Honestly, I checked it out because I was like, oh, you know, it'll be like a 9 season or 10 season show probably. Because no matter what show you watch, like the most that you usually get, like, because like you think of Frasier, you think of Seinfeld when you think of long running sitcoms or any
Mhm.
kind of TV series like that. And no, there just happens to be they're still continuing even with the main character gone now. So they're planning on a 20th season still.
Hmm.
So it's It's crazy, but yeah, when I first started, I figured 9 seasons, 10 seasons max.
That's because shows
And
just don't get that anymore. I mean, like if it started today, it would not go 21 seasons because it started when it started. That's why it's still going. Like, you know what I mean? Shows nowadays they do not go on that long.
no, they don't.
They don't give
Not
them
on
any
a, not
time. Like if
on
they're not an instant hit, like they don't give them any time. Like Big Bang Theory was huge, and that went for what 9 seasons. It's still a lot of seasons, but
was it only 9?
Yeah.
I
pretty
thought there
sure.
was 11.
But even
No.
if it's
Oh,
11, it's not 20. It could
yeah,
have still went on.
right.
People would have still watched it.
They
I
still
would've,
wanted
yeah.
to go on, but the dude who played Sheldon was tired of playing Sheldon.
I mean, you got to
Yeah, I
admit
guess
he would have.
it wouldn't have been the same without him, I guess.
There's 12 seasons of Big Bang Theory.
Oh, there you go.
He's
Yeah,
it's
that's
weird
a
because
long.
he's producing young Sheldon, so he's still involved. He's just not
Oh, really?
portraying the character.
I've never watched Young Sheldon. You guys watch that?
Yeah, I do.
Couple episodes,
almost.
nothing
Hmm?
like. I said I've only seen a couple episodes, and I don't know which seasons they were in because they were just random episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing in any of those episodes that made me like, oh, I want to check this out.
Well, I might watch the first episode just to see what it's like.
It's good. Honestly, I liked it. I think I liked it more because I wasn't ready for Big Bang Theory to be over, so I felt
Mm-hmm.
like this was like a way in without having like to. I felt like it was a good way in to like a prequel, and it still has him narrating. It still has Sheldon narrating like the adult version.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah,
He was a really good character.
yeah, he was.
We're rewatching that 70s show and The Office right now. We're on end of season 3 of The Office and beginning of season 4 of that 70s show.
Is it
And
weird
Is
I'm
it?
not
watching?
100%. I'm not 100% sure if I've seen all of that 70s show. I'm pretty sure there's a little window that I missed. I haven't got to it yet, but I'm pretty sure there's a little window that I missed.
Is it weird watching it now with
I was about
Hyde?
to say. I think we were about to say the same
No,
thing.
I don't really think about it.
No.
No.
While he was doing that, he decided to rape 2 women.
We don't
Can't
say that.
that.
Patty cake.
Sorry.
That's why you're
It
not in the
disappoints
Brotherhood.
me so much.
Brothers don't
No,
say the R word.
I don't want to be part of the Brotherhood.
Yes, you do. You definitely do.
I think Danny Masterson wants to be part of the Brotherhood.
Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it, but nobody's like brought it up like that. So I'll bet you the next time I turn that on, it's gonna cross my mind.
He
Now it's
did
just
it
gonna
in the
ruin
midst of that show too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we watched that 90s show when it came out, and there was just something about it that bothered me. Did we already discuss that on here?
Not on here, no. But
No.
I agree. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I tried. I watched it all. I did. I watched it all. I gave it a real effort, but it felt very forced. Like I felt like what was odd too, because I was
Issue is that the friendship with Eric and Donna's daughter and then the group of friends was so forced. So forced. Like, why couldn't they just already have been friends and now she's over here visiting for a more extended period of time? Maybe she's already friends with a neighbor and then she's getting to know the rest of the group. Like, it's so forced and it just put me off really bad. And I will say there's the one character who I get he's supposed to be the Fez. And I hated him at first, but by the time I was done watching it, he was my favorite character. So that's something.
yeah.
But yeah, I
Is
was
it?
I was put off by how forced it was.
Are they planning on coming back with the second season? I haven't heard anything about it yet.
I'm not sure.
I'd
I
be
don't
surprised.
think it'll ever happen, but they might.
Yeah, I don't think it should personally.
She-Hulk season 2 got the axe. I don't know if I mentioned that on here. But if
As
I
it
did, I'm glad to
should.
mention it again because I freaking hate She-Hulk.
Should have got the
Terrible
X.
stuff. Yeah.
You talk about feeling forced. I mean, Jesus, man, they literally like. I don't know anything about She-Hulk. I really don't. But to make her completely like cognitive right away, versus having to struggle and go through that character arc, I think
hmm
really took away from the show.
Well, I don't think she struggles with it in the comic books like Hulk does. She I don't know how fast she grasps it, but she can turn at will whenever she wants, and she likes being She-Hulk. But the counterbalance of that is that she's not as strong as the Hulk. Could never be as strong as the Hulk, but she has the ability to control it more.
She could be
So-
like
Do you think
70% the strength of
because
Hulk.
she's a woman?
Yeah, but Hulk's strength is unlimited because as long as he's getting madder, he's getting stronger. Maybe 70% of the strong, no, maybe not even 70% of the strongest he's got. Maybe that's just a general rule of thumb for his 70% of his average strength. But when he gets madder, he gets stronger. So she could never match him. And the show is terrible. Do you want me to do? We don't have enough time. We do not have enough time for me to talk about She-Hulk right now. We'll do a separate episode about that because, oh
It's got to
god,
be an after-hours rant. That's what it
yeah.
is. An after-hours rant on how terrible it is.
I hate it so much.
Everybody did.
I've only seen
Well,
clips, so I don't know.
There's
But
definitely some people that liked it, but I would say the loudest ones, but the people that hated it the most are pretty loud too. Like I'm never active on social media, but even I was in the comment sections of She-Hulk. But then I realized, like, now all I see is stuff praising She-Hulk. They're just trying to make me mad, so I'll start commenting and giving their time to the site or whatever. So I just stopped. I had to pull
they're
myself
baiting
out.
back.
I hated it. Hated it. Watched every episode too, just mad the entire time.
You hate watched it.
Also, yeah, the Saved by the Bell remake, the reboot. I hate watched that for a season and a half before I just couldn't take it anymore. I just could not take another second of it. I stopped in the middle of an episode too. Like in that particular episode, I'm just like, nope, can't do it anymore. And there was one good episode, and it wasn't even the whole episode. It was only the parts that involved the original group because there's one episode where there's like a reunion where they're all there. Everybody except Screech obviously wasn't there, and then Lisa wasn't there in person. They talked to her on like a Zoom call. But it's a really good episode where the teacher, who's played by John Michael Higgins, I know you guys know him. You probably don't know the name, but you know him if you'd seen him. He's the principal. He's the principal on there, and whenever all the group starts coming back, he starts like saying memories that he has with them in high school. And they're like, "What?" And he because he went to high school with them, and they don't remember. And then at the end, it shows a bunch of stuff from Saved by the Bell with him edited in. And it's so funny. It's so good. But besides that one chunk, that one portion of the episode, everything else is garbage.
Did they bring
It's,
Mr. Belding back for that
Buddha.
episode?
Bring who?
Did Mr. Belding come back for that episode?
Mr. Belding did not come back for that episode. Jessie works at the school. She's the vice principal, but she's not in it a ton. Slater is the football coach or the PE teacher. He's in it quite a bit. He looks great too. He looks the same, if not better, than he did back in the day. Zach and Kelly are only in it a little bit. Like he's like a politician or like a CEO of something, and she's like a trophy. Well, I wouldn't say she's a trophy wife. I'm pretty sure she has a bunch of a big list of accomplishments too. And then and Lisa, she's a huge fashion designer who's huge and rich and famous, even though Ivanka Trump stole all of her designs. She stole all of her designs, yet she's still a rich and famous designer. So you know how that goes.
Does Slater still have his Jerry curl mullet?
He does not. He has a shorter, tighter
God
hairstyle.
damn
But
it.
also, his character, the entire show, he's just apologizing for how terrible he was in high school. Every single time he's on there, it's all about how much of a pig and how, whatever that he was back in the day. It's terrible. It's terrible.
But he wasn't that bad.
When looking at it through a woke lens or whatever, yeah, and I can see it, but it's like, why even talk about it? Like, who is here watching this who isn't a fan of the original show?
Even if you are, I mean, well, I mean, I wouldn't say like that's like every character in that show except for
No, yeah, to an extent. There's actually a YouTube channel, or at least a series of videos called "Zach Morris is a Terrible Person," and I
Zach
watched one
Morris is
once, and I
trash.
don't want to watch another one because I'm like, holy crap, that's true. So I'm like,
he
I
was a
don't want to
terrible
watch another one. So
person.
I get it, I 100% get it. But let's just not talk about it. Let's just have them be good, positive characters now in the little parts that they play. You know.
That
I guess
YouTube
like, everybody was
series.
so
Alan Slater
yesterday.
just now realizing that the stuff that he did then was problematic. If we go into what they want us to see, how is he just now figuring this out? That is not a good reflection on him. That it took him 50 years to realize, or I guess it'd be 30 years because he was,
I'm like,
a
come on,
teenager
man,
in
I'm
high
not
school.
that
So it took
old.
him that long to realize that was problematic. He should have learned that a long time ago.
That
So it even speaks worse on his character.
that YouTube show, Zach Morris is trash,
Yeah, there you go.
led into a podcast with
Mark Paul Gosselaar?
with Paul Gosselaar and the guy that
Really?
created that.
Really?
And they started doing like reviews of each episode of Saved by the Bell together.
Oh wow, I have to check that out.
I don't know if they finished it. I think they kind of ended it before they could finish the series. But there's a decent amount of episodes that they put up.
What's the podcast called? The same thing, Zach Morris is trash? With Mark Paul Gosselaar?
Maybe.
It's just funny that exists. They're like, Zach Morris is trash.
Yeah. No, like the episode to focus on is there's this one episode where he I think he tells this this overweight girl that he'd go to the dance with her, but then this hot girl asks him to the dance, so he pretends like
Oh
he's
yeah, I
getting
remember
out
that
of the
episode.
dance, going to the dance with her to go with this other girl. But then when she's there and sees him, he feels bad, and then he like
Didn't he
dances with her
offer
or
to
whatever.
dance
So
with her?
they break it down. It's
Yeah.
like, wow, like that's this big redemption moment. Is okay, I'll dance with the overweight girl. So it's like, yeah. Like I was like, yes, okay, I get it. I don't want to watch anymore. Okay, but you remember the episode when there's that anti-drug guy that was there, and then they all went to a party at his hotel room, and everybody left but Kelly. And then at that point, he offered her like a joint.
No,
No,
You
I
remember
don't.
that? She had to tell everybody that he is not what he claims to be because he's supposed to be this anti-drug guy. So when the principal was trying to remind him about all the stuff they had been through, like the camera zooms out after he offers the joint, and he's sitting on the couch, and he looks just like himself but with a wig on, and he's like, "This is crazy, Kelly. This guy's supposed to be against drugs, and he's offering us a joint." Like it was funny. You guys should watch just that one episode, just that one. It was really good.
So the podcast
or like prequels and stuff like that of famous shows. It's becoming too much. I mean, I understand writing something new is becoming more difficult as the years go on because it's like what hasn't been written yet. But to just try to go after it for a money grab, man, it's just like tarnishing what it actually was.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you what it is they are writing new stuff and they're just putting that name on it because it's not reflective of what the show was. And if anything, it just tears down the original show in almost every instance of modern remakes. It's anti whatever the original was. You love this movie, so we're gonna make a movie with the opposite point, the opposite messaging, the opposite hits, and then and you're gonna love it because it's called the same thing. So they are writing new stuff. It's just bad, and they're slapping the brand name on it for the money.
I know you said I cut out. The podcast is called Zach to the Future.
I'm gonna write that down.
And they've got 50 episodes that they've reviewed. Possibly 49. I think the first episode is like them like, hey, this is what the show's going to be upcoming. We're going to...
Oh, yeah, like an intro episode.
It might be that, or it might be 50 episodes. But there's 50 episodes altogether. So it's either 49 episodes and one intro.
Yeah, and that might seem like that's most of the series. No, because they were longer seasons back then, right? It was probably 20 episodes per. I was not a fan of the junior high stuff. The high school stuff's my favorite, and the college is pretty close. Like Boy Meets World, I'm not a big fan of the junior high stuff. Love the high school stuff, and the college stuff is the best.
The middle school stuff
guys.
originally. What?
I need to step off the pod real quick.
All right.
Something's going down in my house right now.
All right.
I just got to handle kid stuff. One of my kids is freaking out.
Okay.
You are freaking out, man.
No.
It's gonna make a tragic story when I come back. I'll tell you that.
So get out of here
Uh-oh.
already, you
Yeah, sorry,
non-brother.
guys.
Get out. Here's how it happened. You came in, and you're fired.
That's how it went down.
All right.
Get out.
I'll
Get out of my
get
sight.
back on if there's time.
All right.
But bye, guys.
See ya. Should we go into Highlander and then
I would still save it
not
for
there?
I would still save it for the end, so it's like less cutting and moving things around.
Sounds good. Okay, well, what do we want to jump into then?
We could start the Brightburn review. You said you had things to talk about, so if he comes back, we could get his at the end.
Okay. Okay. So do you want to introduce it, or do you want me to? It was your pick.
I could do a quick one. I could just be like, well, you know, my pick was Brightburn. It is kind of it is a horror take on what if Superman landed here, and instead of being the good old, you know, country American boy, if he grew up being evil, turned to evil instead of using his gifts for truth, justice, and the American way.
Mm-hmm.
We're not supposed to say the American way anymore, but
what is the saying now? I can't remember.
I don't even know the new saying.
Oh, truth, justice, and a better tomorrow, or something like that.
That's not as good. Sorry, everywhere else that's not the United States. Can't say America because Canada's technically America. Mexico's America.
And everybody that writes comics hates America, so they can't be portrayed in a positive light.
Yeah. Come to save the motherfucking day now.
Day now. All right, so yeah, Roy from The Office was in it. He was
That's his name from The Office. I tried all week and I didn't want to look it up. I was like, I'm gonna remember this guy's fucking name.
Yeah, I do that all the time where I'm like, I'm not looking it up. Sometimes I'll go like I'm gonna look it up because my mind starts overloading and I want to get it before I read it. So usually it'll come to me right before I see it. So then Elizabeth Banks was the mom.
You got you got Badger as his uncle. That's all I know him. I mean, I know him from the Kevin Smith movie as well when he played that cop in what was it? Not Tusk. The one before.
Was it Red State?
Yes.
Okay, I've only seen Red State once, so I don't even remember him being in there. But I don't know if I knew him at the time, so he didn't stick out.
I vaguely knew him because it's when I started getting into Breaking Bad, and I was like, "Oh, that's Badger."
Yeah, I was a latecomer on Breaking Bad, so great show.
Those three people are the ones that I recognized as like I know these people. Everyone else, I don't know if I know them. I can't place them in anything in my head.
Mm-hmm. At the very end, Michael Rooker is in it. That last scene. James Gunn had also had Michael Rooker and Elizabeth Banks were both in Slither, which is a horror movie that James Gunn did back in the day.
I did like.
Also, I did not realize James Gunn did not direct this. I thought this was a James Gunn directed movie, but he did not direct it. He produced it. Brian and Mark Gunn wrote it. Assume those are his brothers. Director was a guy named David Yarovesky. Good job, though. I thought the direction, I thought the shots, I thought the music, I thought everything was good. I thought all that stuff worked.
I do. I have a question for you.
Let's have it.
Because I think this is what set the tone for him to be like, if he's gonna go good or he's gonna go bad. Was when
Okay.
it was when him and his dad were out hunting, and his dad was like trying to give him the talk. He's like about masturbation in his body,
Hmm.
and his
Hmm.
dad says something to the extent of like pretty
Like
much
that's okay.
like that's okay, and it's like it's your choice, pretty much, and like kind of like telling him to like act upon it.
Hmm.
So like the way he worded it made it sound like you know it's okay to be bad.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, it's fine.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
I was like, if he worded that differently, maybe Brandon would have been like lean more towards being good. But I was like, I think that triggered him to like, you know what, I can be bad.
Hmm. I hadn't thought about that, but that does make a good point. That was actually one of my things. I was wondering why this movie wasn't bigger than it was, and why there wasn't a green light on a sequel like immediately, because it came out in the height of like the MCU popularity, or comic book movies where everybody was going to see them, multiple times. The movie was made on a 17.3 million. I'm sorry, a $6 to $7 million budget.
Yeah.
So low cost to make it. It only made 32.8 million worldwide. I mean, I know horror movies generally gross less, but I mean it's so closely tied into a comic book. You got James Gunn who just did the Guardians movies that were great. So I'm wondering why it didn't get bigger.
I I don't remember there being a whole lot of promotion for it.
Not a lot, but I
And
mean, anybody on YouTube, I saw a promotion for it on YouTube constantly.
and I also think it's one of those things where like us knowing Superman and knowing like this is Superman if he went bad instead of good, like we know that.
Mm.
But I think the general audience that was going to see comic book movies, that don't know, I think they seen that and just seen it as like, oh, they're trying to capitalize on action heroes and they're just trying to make a scary movie with an action hero.
Mm.
Probably not knowing like, no, this is this is the story of the greatest comic book hero.
Mm.
Not to me.
Well, yeah, but also there's a lot of movies that don't start that strong, but then by word of mouth, they pick up steam. Like, why weren't people talking about the people that did go see it? Because obviously, I mean, 32 million, $33 million is not a little, it's not a no amount of money. A lot of people saw it, but
Yeah.
they didn't go tell other people to see it or weren't convincing enough, I guess. So I was trying to think about it because I like the movie overall. I think it's great. But I'm trying to think what is the reason that it didn't connect. And I'm thinking that we didn't get a big chunk of his life because by the time we know Brandon, he's a little weird, in school. He's the outcast in school, and then he gets his powers, and the voices start talking to him like immediately. So he's already on the verge of going bad, like right away. So I think that they should have shown his upbringing a little bit more. I know he's only 12, but Superman's upbringing is the reason that he's a good guy. It's the morals that were instilled in him by the Kents.
Yeah.
So, but he also, to my knowledge, I haven't read every comic book story. His ship wasn't beaming messages into his head and like
No.
playing with his mind. So, did Brandon have a chance at all of not going bad? But they didn't
It,
show us his upbringing. So, maybe they just didn't do as good a job as the Kents, but maybe they didn't want to do that because they wanted the parents to be likable. I don't know. But I think we missed out on a big part because we don't know who Brandon is. So I feel that there's no connection. The only connection that you have is if you already know Superman and you know
yeah.
this is his take on Superman.
Yeah.
So the common man doesn't get that because there is no reason to be connected with Brandon because he starts to go off the deep end immediately.
They they definitely did rush it, banking on people like probably thinking like who doesn't know Superman, who doesn't know his
The
upbringing,
origin story. Yeah, yeah.
and They briefly try and touch on it throughout the movie, but like they don't do a good job of it. Where they're like, "We raised him nice. He used to be such a good boy."
Yeah, but that's that show don't tell thing, like, where
Yeah,
possible, show that happening and not telling it. The movie was an hour and a half, and it could have been longer. Like I think a longer cut with some more of that portion of his life would have been beneficial to the reception of the movie.
the touching back on the Michael Rooker thing too. Um, they also played it off as like that version of Aquaman is
Yes,
evil.
yes,
That version of Wonder Woman is evil.
yeah.
So I
So yeah, why did this not immediately spark interest and we get a sequel that's got the evil version of Wonder Woman, the evil version of Aquaman, and then whoever else they want to bring out? Like, I thought the horror elements were good. I thought it was shot well. I thought a lot of the kills were unique. The practical effects they used were really good. Like the well, I don't know if it's practical. Maybe it's CGI, but the glass coming out of the eye was crazy, and also Badger's face.
when his jaw was like just
Yeah, it was like
falling off.
hanging off. Like it looked good. It looked really good.
That didn't look CGI.
Yeah,
Like
no, that one was definitely practical. The Badger one, that was definitely practical. Um, and yeah, it'd been a minute since I think I watched it twice when it first came out, and I haven't watched it since. There's a lot I didn't remember with him going to his aunt's house and kind of threatening her, and then hiding in the closet. I didn't remember that. I thought Badger just ran into him on the way home. I didn't realize that he saw him hiding in the closet and drug him out and threw him in the truck and was like, "I'm taking you home." I didn't
yeah.
remember that happened. I'm like, dang, that's crazy.
I remembered it different too. I remembered it as he was driving home from the bar
Yeah,
and Brandon was flying and hit him and he was kind of like, "What the fuck was that?" and
yeah.
stopped and then seen Brandon in the road and was like, "Yeah, what the fuck is this?"
Mhm.
That's how I remembered that playing out. I didn't remember him, like you said, coming home kind of drunk and fucking getting
Yeah.
scared.
Yeah, it's funny. My son, I was watching this, and my son was on the bed on his phone, watching his videos, and then Badger goes, "What the fuck?" And then my son throws down his phone and runs over to my phone, and he's like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "God dang it!"
Yeah. It's one of
Uh,
those things where it's like you don't want to laugh, but it's like it's funny and cute, but at the same
yeah,
time
and
you know it's not good.
he's not really verbal, so I enjoy anytime he says anything. Yeah, it was funny. We're like, dang it, why you gotta say that?
We I was watching wrestling and Seth Rollins, they call him Seth frickin' Rollins.
Yes, yes.
It's like I'm sitting there and Harley's next to me and we're watching and she's like, "Oh, who's that?" And I was like, "That's Seth Rollins." And then Michael Cole is like, "Seth frickin' Rollins." And she's like, "Seth fucking Rollins." And I was like, "No, no." I was like, "That's what he wants it to be, but he can't have it be that." But I was like, "You're
Yeah,
not
let's not get in
wrong.
the habit of saying that.
You're not wrong, but you don't say that. Hey, you
uh,
don't say that."
oh, don't say that. Don't say that. No, I love the horror elements. I'm pretty sure I put together that his symbol is his initials, but I don't know
Yeah.
because I feel like I had a revelation of that while I was watching this. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Did I know? And I couldn't remember. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. But I mean, all the doodles and all the stuff in that he was drawing, I mean, it was all evil the whole time. So I don't know that he ever had a chance of not being evil. I also didn't remember how creepy he got with that girl from his school.
That's what I'm saying. Like if his dad didn't tell him like it's okay to act on him, would he have
Hmm.
done like what he did with her? Like would he have been a fucking like a creeper?
Yeah. Although, if memory serves, so he had a crush on that girl because these guys were picking on him because he was smart, and she turns around to defend him, and she says something to him like, "Smart guys are gonna rule the world" or something like that. And then he appreciated that. And he like smiled at her, and then she was like, and then turned back around. It's like, why'd you even turn around and defend him? Like all he did was smile back at you. That was if memory serves, that it happened. That happened, but I don't remember 100% off the top of my head.
We'll go with that's what happened. 100%.
And then So whenever the parents start to become suspicious of the powers and of him doing bad stuff, the dad mentions that he's never bled, he's never gotten sick. I kind of think that would have came up earlier, just in amazement, like, oh my God, my son's 12 and he's never, they'd be talking about it all the time, or that would have stuck out to them earlier. I don't know. It just seems to me like it would, but
I mean, they knew he was an alien, though.
that's true. I mean, that is true.
I was like, if I had an alien kid, I wouldn't think the normal things like, hey, you've never been sick. I'd be like,
That's fair.
I'd be more worried, like, what the fuck are you gonna infect me with?
Mhm. I actually do you remember whenever we started talking about Highlander and I said I had a dream or a nightmare about Highlander?
Yeah.
Almost the same thing happened in Brightburn. I won't say exactly what it is now. I'll wait for the Highlander review to reveal that. But there was a scene that something very similar happened in my nightmare that I will tell you later. Okay, so we find out that his ship is the only thing that can hurt him, right? So that's the tie. That's his kryptonite. And I think it is so awesome and crazy and scary that the only person knew that ship could hurt him was his mom. She's dead. Now, nobody knows that that's the only thing that can hurt him. They don't know it exists. They don't know where it's at. So that's crazy. It's like, I'm sure there's a comic book storyline out there where a team of people and researchers can figure it out and somehow realize that that's a thing. But it's so impossible to know, off the top of my head. Like, I'm like, that's scary because he has no weaknesses now. And there's nobody going to hit another part of his ship isn't going to fall out like the comic books and hit the ground and run into him and he's going to get hurt. And everybody's like, oh shit, that ship hurt him. Like, they just don't know. and it's just up in the air. I think that's a chilling, like, a little undertone to put on it too.
It's definitely scary as the viewer knowing, like, these guys have no way, essentially have no way to stop him.
Yeah. And Elizabeth Banks, though, her attempt of killing him at the end, what a weak attempt. She's giving him a hug and she's going to stab him in the back. Yet she has to slowly lift her arm like way back behind her head like this. It's like, just go like that. But no, she has to, like, so he can feel her obviously reaching way back. And then the way he kills her was really cool too. Like, he busts through the barn, he flies straight up into the air with her, so she's all tore up from her face busting through the roof, and then he just takes her up super high and drops her. I'm like, that's cool. That's cool.
A few seconds before, when she was trying to kill him, she was like, I have to kill you. But right before she got let go, she was like reaching up as if she was like, oh, my baby boy. Like, you were about to fucking kill him. He's not your baby boy.
Yeah, but she knows she's gonna die now too, and she loved him. Regardless, she loved him.
I think if I had an alien kid, and even if I loved him, if they flew me up in the atmosphere like that love would go away like instantly. I'd flip it off like a switch. I'd be like, I fucking hate you. I hope there's an afterlife.
Right now, coming in the room and grabbing you and flying you up into the air.
I'd be like,
I'm gonna drop you once we get high enough. Your love is gone immediately.
Yeah. I'd be like, it turns to instant hate. I'm like, I fucking hate you. I hope somebody figures out that ship is what's gonna hurt you, and I hope they fucking kill you.
Oh yeah, that's nuts too. He just saw the plane flying and he freaking takes out the entire plane. He took out his barn, so then everybody thinks the mom and dad are just dead from that incident and stuff like that. That was pretty smart thinking from that kid. I just wish we had the time to connect to him before he got evil. I think that's the only thing holding this movie back.
Yeah, everything felt rushed, but it also felt like there was not enough of it.
Yeah, there you go. It ran at a really quick pace. It was never boring. Like, but yeah, it just feels like there wasn't enough. It could have been longer. Like, the average movie is longer now. It used to be 90 minutes, and I loved that. But now they're longer. And with that story, it needed more time.
I think Brightburn would have played better as a TV show. If they could take that.
But I mean, it did have a low budget. I mean, it takes
like
for the amount that they made that movie, they could make 2 1/3 episodes of She-Hulk.
Like, if they if they not like a full on running season.
No,
Like
no, hold on,
we're
hold on. I was 100% wrong. For the money that they made Brightburn for, they could make 4 of those for one episode of She-Hulk. Because it was 25 million an episode for She-Hulk. I think it might have been 250, but I'm pretty sure it was 25. I was thinking 2.5 at first, but no, that's wrong. Yeah, so they made theirs for 6 to 7 million. They could make that movie 4 times as equal one episode of She-Hulk. So yeah, they could have done that as a show.
do it like as a just a limited run show. Like, yeah, we're only doing
Yeah,
one
like
season of this,
1 or 2 seasons, and that's it. Like knowing from the beginning that's it.
but we're gonna like 10 episodes, and we're gonna get into it. So you got 10 hours of building
Limited.
this story.
Yeah.
It could have been way better.
I think it could have worked, or maybe some flashback peppered throughout. I don't know.
For things like that, I think that would be the better route to go. You could stretch your money out even more.
Yeah,
And
and I mean, where there are some recognizable actors in there, they're not A-listers, so they're not commanding that top tier money.
yeah,
You know, so I think it would have been doable, and it probably would have translated better. And I do have one piece of one fun fact here. The school that they used to shoot the school scenes were the same school that they use in Stranger Things
I did not know that.
in seasons 1 and 2, anyway. Yeah, just a fun fact. Oh, and also they mention Brightburn being in Kansas, and I think Smallville is in Kansas also. So
Yes.
So that was just another tie-in of a Superman tie-in. So he landed in the same state as Superman did.
Okay, I can't. At first, I was gonna try and like do maybe it did so bad because of this, but it didn't. Or
No.
I I was gonna say like maybe COVID affected it. Maybe it released.
Well, it did release around COVID. That is true. But still,
If
why didn't it get a sequel? Why didn't it blow up on digital? Why isn't the streaming numbers out of this world? So like at least I think it came out on HBO Max. Like why isn't HBO Max like let's make a sequel of this because people want to see it? If they
in
were watching it that much, then they would have done that. That's why they made the Snyder Cut because people wanted it.
it came out in May 24th, so it came out earlier in the year. I didn't
And
think.
in 2019.
Yeah, and I don't think.
Okay. So yeah, that's probably not the problem.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I was gonna try and defend it that way, but when I seen the release date, I was like, no, COVID was like at the end of the year.
Mhm. But hey, I mean, like, it didn't make that much money, but it freaking 5 times the budget. So they definitely did what they wanted to do. They made their money back and then some. So that's all good. And it's a good movie. It's well put together. The visual effects are good. I think the music's good and works with it. I like the horror scenes. The scene of him flying around the house and killing that cop, and terrorizing his mom and then killing that cop. Which, again, I've seen this movie multiple times, but I didn't even realize at one point when the mom's hiding, you see in the corner of the screen him killing that cop. He gets in this one room and you just see him flying around the room and then hitting every wall in a circle. And I'm like, oh crap, I didn't notice that the last times I watched it. So that was cool.
Yeah. The the thing I didn't really like too much was his costume design.
Hmm.
I it's just the shirt he wears, just like the striped shirt. I was like, can you put on something
Yeah, I guess that's
different?
true because even in his drawings, like the mask is cool, but even in the
Yeah.
drawings, he was just wearing a striped shirt. Yeah.
I was like,
Well, I also read a fact that like in Smallville, they had him dressing in blue and red and yellow, but just not like the Superman costume. So that's why his shirt is blue and yellow striped. But they could have had it just be a blue and yellow shirt that's different from a horizontally striped shirt.
yeah.
I thought the mask was cool looking though, and something that a kid could design.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks like something a kid would do.
Yeah.
I just, I didn't
But
like
how do
the
you come up with
shirt.
that mask but not a better shirt?
It looked like possibly his baby blanket was his cape.
Yeah, it did kind of look like that type of a thing, like kind of a woven blanket, a woven baby a blankie.
Yeah.
I liked it though, and I would 100% watch a sequel. But if we're giving out a rating for this movie because of that, I feel like it's missing that big chunk of his upbringing. I'm gonna have to go. Oh, let's see. What is my rating scale gonna be for this? Because that has many funny things to use because it's not a comedy.
Yeah.
I will go with 3.5 pieces of glass right in the eyeball. So better than average, but definitely not in that top tier.
I'd probably give it the average of like 3. It's okay to masturbates.
All right. Well, there you go. That is Brightburn. We do have to add to the bracket, and Casey and I, we already established what ours were going to be last week. Which mine was Paranormal Activity, and his is Final Destination. So I have added those to the bracket. So we just need one more for you, and then next time we can debate for who gets the last pick.
Just so I don't, just so I'm not repeating, what are all the movies that are on it? Just so I don't.
I will list them right now.
Highlander.
Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play, Scream, Saw, Friday the 13th, Hellraiser, Insidious, Alien, Wrong Turn, Halloween, Conjuring Universe, Sleepaway Camp, Paranormal Activity, Final Destination.
Didn't I pick Sleepaway Camp last week? I thought that's what I
You
brought
did.
up.
That's what you picked last week, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Casey and I picked Halloween and Conjuring last week, but then we were talking about something else later, and we picked what our picks for this week were going to be as well.
Yeah.
We just didn't officially add them at the time. So those picks were Paranormal Activity and Final Destination. So I'm adding them right now.
I am thinking.
Let's see. You can do the Purge movies. You could do the Jaws movies. You could do. Let's see. I also have stuff written down. Know where my other pages are. Well, there's a couple that I just threw out right there. Like I said, Joyride movies.
I'll go with Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay, there you go. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
And I will say I absolutely hated the newest woke version of it. So
I only
much.
watched a review of it, and it was terrible. The Jessica Biel remake, that was good.
It was.
It was really good. I remember the second time you can count it as the second time I watched it because I was asleep and Jake was watching it, and I woke up in the middle of a Leatherface chasing somebody scene, and I'm chalking it up to mostly me just barely waking up and not knowing what was going on, but I was scared for a minute. So I was like, man, that was good. So yeah, I like that one. So we'll have to say what it all encompasses. Because if we did the Jessica Biel, if we did the Texas Chainsaw, the one that's called Leatherface.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
I did.
I loved it. I don't know how you felt about it, but I loved that one. Obviously, there's like a twist on who Leatherface is because there's a guy that's built exactly like Leatherface, and you think it's him, but it's not. So I mean, that twist didn't need to be there for the movie to be enjoyable for me, I think. But it was whatever. It didn't. I'm neutral on the twist, but I loved that movie.
The only one I haven't liked has been the new one. All the others, like, there's been at least things in it where I'm like, okay, this is fun, this is likable. The new one,
the beginning, Texas Chainsaw, the beginning or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that came out between Leatherface and the Jessica Biel one. And that was a prequel, but that was good. That was the story of the girl that they pick up in the van on the way to the farmhouse in the first one. Like she escaped from him and is running down the street, and that's when they pick her up in the van.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool. So yeah, I'd be down to do that. So what I think we should do is after next week or the week after, whenever we do our game to see who picks the last spot, Then we got to just figure out how we're going to order these and put them in brackets. Like I said, we should each pick one that we want most to win, and we make sure those don't face each other in the first round, and that's all we can do from there. Organize them on the bracket so they'll face each other as late as possible. And then I don't know, we're gonna have to figure out a device from that, whether it's just rolling dice or whatever metrics that they have to offer on IMDb or Wikipedia or whatever, and figure out how to score that. But we'll come up with that finalized whenever it's time. But I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be good to do a whole series and get into it. Whether we're going to be able to get together and watch it, or which I think we should. I mean, I think we should. Maybe not. Maybe that won't be an episode. It'll be its own series.
Yeah.
Since it'll take some time to get all of them done. All right. So that's the bracket. What do we have next on the agenda, brother?
Next we would have played the game. I can still play it with you and have you take your guess. I don't know if Casey joins back in.
I'm fine with that if you want to do that, but I do think it would be better if we were both here for that.
Yeah. I could shoot him a text and see
well, we got perfect albums.
We do have that. I can, if you want to start it off, I'm listening. I'm just going to send Casey a text to see if he can possibly get back in here.
Okay. Well, maybe Casey will see this later in case he doesn't want to or isn't able to join back in. I don't want to not say this. So I'm going to say that I went back to listen to the first Matchbox 20 album, and I got done with the album. I'm like, yeah, I know all these songs and I love them. Like, what am I talking about? Like, I didn't know. I wasn't familiar with the last couple songs. I guess I didn't recognize them by name because I just let the thing play through and couldn't pick them out by name. But yeah, I knew them all and I loved them. So 100% agree with Casey's first choice of the first Matchbox 20 album.
After you told me which one you were going to listen or pick for today, I did. At first, I was going to just listen to the song as kind of a, see if I could hear what you hear. And like it started up, and I was like, I do know this song. And then the next song happened, and I was like, I know this song too.
Yeah, the next two songs are singles after that as well, and then there's another single later on down the list.
It's like I listened to the whole thing. Like, none of it made me want to skip it because I was wanting to listen to it to be like, is this an album that I could be into potentially?
Mm-hmm.
And I would say my favorite song on that album, just from the one listen, was Hand Me Down.
Good song. Really good song.
Like, for whatever reason, that one stuck out the most to me in the listen. And the other thing that kind of threw me off was at the end, like the last couple songs, it's kind of like the mood's coming down. And then they hit you with You're So Real. And that song like is like a fucking spike up in like, a mood change.
Oh, the bonus one, I don't want nobody. That one?
I don't know if it's a bonus, but it's the second to last song. It's called You're So Real.
Like, oh, hell yeah. That's a great song.
Like the prior songs felt like,
you're so real. Yes, they do go down like that.
It's like, okay, the album's ending, and then that one starts, and it's like you're picking the fucking energy way back up. You hit me with 100. It's like
yeah. When I was thinking about which song was my favorite on there, that one, You're So Real and Downfall, I always get those mixed up in my head, and I couldn't remember the name of You're So Real, and like you, I wasn't looking it up because I wanted to think about it. But You're So Real and Downfall are really up there. Feel is way up there because that's a hard one too. That's a harder one for them. That's the opening song. But Disease, okay, so my album is Matchbox 20's third album, More Than You Think You Are, and I have two stories about this album and why it's perfect and why I love it, and they both take place in the rain. Disease came out as a single, and I was really big into Matchbox 20, and the song came out, and I loved it. And I loved it so much that I burned a CD with just that song on it because I didn't have any other songs I wanted to make an album with at the time. And also, I'm like, this is the only song I want to listen to, and I don't want to have to keep rewinding it or whatever. I'll just let it play on loop, you know? So I did that, and the first day that I did it after I got home or after I got out of school, it was one day when I took the bus out to Tempe to visit my mom on the weekend, and it just happened to be raining, and I was taking this long bus ride and just listening to this song on repeat over and over again. That was the best bus ride of my life. I loved it. It seemed to go by so quick, and by the halfway through the bus trip, I had all the words memorized and stuff like. So I was pumped, and then I got a job down the street from our school at that call center.
Yeah.
And when the album came out, the day it came out, I had to work, and I was like, as soon as I get off work, I'm going to get this album, and I just could not wait. And it is the first and only time that I ever left work in the middle of a shift pretending to be sick. And it was raining that day, so I had to walk to the bus stop, took the bus to Best Buy, got the album. Yeah, just another great bus ride. Not quite as good as the other one, but a fantastic bus ride in the rain. Yeah, and again, Feel starts out so good, and it's a harder song for them. And it gets into Disease, and then again, Bright Lights right after that, Unwell right after that, just single. And yeah, it's a great album. I love every song on it. Even the bonus song is really good. There was a Bare Naked Ladies album that I was considering throwing on. There is another Bare Naked Ladies album I'm going to throw on the list, but there was another one I was considering, but the bonus song I didn't really care for. So I was like, should I put this on? Because it's just a bonus song, but I'm like, it's on the album. And that they don't have that now. I don't know what the equivalent to that would be nowadays. Like a bonus song, like if you're just not in the spot to stop the CD, take it out or rewind it or whatever. So it's just playing, and you're washing the dishes, and all of a sudden another song starts playing that wasn't on the track list. It's like, oh crap. Or you throw it into the Windows Media Player, and there's another track listed on the list that's not on there. I'm like it's cool. I don't know if they have that nowadays.
Yeah, I don't know, because everything is mostly like put out on Spotify. So it's like it's hard to have a hidden track.
Yeah, and they're not hidden anymore. It's just every album just has bonus track after bonus track after bonus track.
Yeah.
But yes, so that's my perfect album is Matchbox 20's third album, More Than You Think You Are, which I think came out in 2003. Might have been 2002, but I think it was 2003.
It was 2002.
There you go.
It was good. I enjoyed it. I don't know, like, if future listens, like, I don't know if it would be like something where I would let it all play, or if I'd be like, I'm gonna skip to what I want to hear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think most Matchbox 20's albums are perfect. I think I have to go back to it again, but I'm pretty sure there's a song or two on Mad Season that would keep it out, but I'm not 100% sure after I was so wrong about their first album. And also on Spotify, they have a playlist of Matchbox 20 that is just every single Matchbox 20 song in one list. I put that on all the time. So, yeah.
It was definitely a good album for me. Like,
I'm surprised that you enjoy it that much, but that's very cool.
The album that I went with is Guster's Ganging Up on the Sun. I originally like, I don't know, seen or heard these guys because I was up late one night back when MTV would play music videos.
Yes.
Like they would play like the obscure shit that didn't get played throughout the day. They'd play it at like, 1 or 2 in the morning. Is like when videos of lesser known bands were played, and I don't know why I was up, but I was still up. And one of their songs from a different album came on, and it was my first time hearing them, and I was like, I like this song. And then last year I was trying to remember the band name, and like the only thing I remember about the song is they were singing about Amsterdam. And then it turned out that the song's just called Amsterdam. I was like, I got lucky about that because I just typed in Amsterdam song.
Okay, right on.
And it popped up, and I've re-listened to that song, and it was not what I remembered from the video.
Mhm.
Like I remember watching the video and listening to it and being like, "This is amazing," and then I fell asleep. And when I woke up, I was like, "I can't remember the name or the song." So I was like, I never went to find it. And the internet back then was not what it is today, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like I could just get on and be like, I couldn't even remember Amsterdam. I just remember being in like that halfway, like between being awake and asleep, where you're just like the grogginess.
Brown State.
Yeah, and I was just like, this is a really good song. It's still good. I still enjoy it, but I think if I was half asleep, I would enjoy it a lot more. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I was driving around and I like it popped up in my head that song, and I was like, oh yeah, Amsterdam. Like it just fucking triggered. I looked him up on Spotify, and then I was like, didn't know anything else about the band, and I listened to that one song, and I was like, I like this guy's voice. It's kind of unique. Not really. I mean, you could say that there's a lot of people that have his close to that.
They might have aped it afterward, though.
Yeah,
They might have been similar afterwards.
because like I ended up just picking the next album, which is the Ganging Up on the Sun, and I started it. And a couple of the songs, it felt like I had heard these, but I don't know where I heard them. Like Satellite.
Mm-hmm.
Um. What else?
I will say that I did not listen to the entire album, but I did listen to the song that you picked, and I did like it. I will say that I'd heard about Guster a while ago, but the name just kind of turned me off, so I never really looked into them at all. Was not expecting them to sound like they did, and I definitely
Yeah.
enjoyed the song. I watched the video too. That was some type of animation. It
Yeah.
wasn't clay. It was. I don't remember what it was, but it was
They,
not
they,
cartoon.
they were kind of like just stuffed animals, like Build-A-Bear type.
Okay, yeah. So it was like stop motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So yeah, I liked the video. I enjoyed the song. Did not expect them to sound like that, and I would check them out more based on that song.
but yeah, I started playing that album. It's like I recognized Satellite, but I don't know where I know it from. It might have just been something I heard of the radio at one point. And then One Man Wrecking Machine started, and like it caught me just with like the intro. Like I couldn't figure out what they're playing instrument wise for some of it. I was like,
Mhm.
is that like synthesize something on a keyboard? Is that what the hell are those called? Xylophone? Where you're
Uh,
we
oh no, what is that called? It's accordion.
no, like the thing that where you move your hands.
Oh, theremin. Theremin.
Theremin. I was like,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that a theremin? Are they doing something with that through an effect? And then he started singing and like the lyrics for One Man Wrecking Machine. I was like, I feel like this guy watched my life and wrote this song about my life. Like everything about it. Well, not everything, because I never went to the train tracks smoking with the boys. But everything but that, I was like, felt like this guy was just watching my life and wrote about it.
Yeah.
Because like I connected to a lot of it. Um, and then just going through the rest of the album, I was like, but this song's good. This song, like going through it, and since then I've probably listened to this album at least once or twice a week over the past year.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
Wow.
not that often. Wasn't that often where I would listen to music. Um, just because I assume you might have been the same way when we were like doing band stuff. Anytime I'd hear other songs, I'd be like, "That's good. Can I modify that?
Yeah.
What's their process? How do they do that?" You know. So I was listening to songs, but I wasn't listening to them to enjoy them. I was listening to them to be
Yeah.
like, oh, that's a cool technique. Yeah,
Mhm.
what are they using there? What effect is that? I want to use that effect. How can I incorporate that into something, and like I haven't played guitar in a long time now. So now recently I'm listening to music again, like not through a guitar player's ears, but like through just somebody who just can sit back and actually listen and appreciate it now, instead of like, that's a cool riff, I want to learn it.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like there's quite a few of the perfect albums to me where I'm sure like a lot of people would be like, that album sucks. That band sucks.
Yeah.
There's nothing good about them.
Yeah, I mean everything's subjective.
Yeah. But that's one of the albums where I was like, this is a perfect album because I could put it on and not want to skip any song because every song to me is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Not equally as good as One Man Wrecking Machine, but I still won't like put it on to skip to get to it because I like all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll probably check that album out. I definitely have some drive time coming up on the next work week, so I'll probably give that a listen to.
About a
What
40.
albums do you have that were like close to being on the list but not?
There were some Coheed albums, like because they are my favorite. Like they're the only band that I have permanently tattooed on me. Like
Yeah.
it'd be hard to be like, they're not my favorite, even though they're the only one I've got permanently inked on me.
Yeah.
But like, there are some things that I want to skip, but I think it's mostly because of people, where they're like, play this song because it's all they know. So you get that thing going where, like, if you were like, you want to listen to Kiss, and I'm like, play Detroit Rock City, you'd be like, okay, all right, I guess.
I get what you mean, but I don't feel that way about Kiss. Like Rock and Roll All Night. Sure, I wish they didn't end every single concert they did with it, but it's a damn good song. And if you just listen to the 2 minute and 7 second version or whatever that's on the album, blows by real quick and it's a lot of fun. But when you see it live, I don't want to let. Yeah, if I was listening to Kiss Alive or Kiss Alive 3, I would not. I probably would skip the Rock and Roll All Night version on there because it's gonna be 10 minutes long and I'm not there to see all the fireworks and the confetti. So
for me, it's just like, it's that factor of like, if I were to show you and you only knew the one song, we're like, I'll tell somebody like, do you listen to Rammstein? Oh, I love Du Hast. It's like when I put the album on, I always skip Du Hast. I was like, I can't stand it on the album, but if I'm driving and it comes on the radio, I'm like, fuck yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, I'm happy it's on the radio because they don't get on the radio that much. But if I were to put it in myself, it's like, I don't want to hear this.
Mm-hmm.
So Coheed has some of those albums, but it's for that factor of like, whenever I would show somebody who, you know, oh, I know them because they were on Rock Band, play Welcome Home. It's a good song.
I mean, I have two bands tattooed on me, and they're both definitely going to make appearances. But like even Kiss, and I love Kiss, but most of their albums, I gotta say, there's probably one song at least, that I wouldn't normally what I would normally skip. There's definitely, like I said, there's a couple that are going to make an appearance on the list. There's a couple of Hinder albums that are going to make an appearance on this list for me. But there's this album that I love that I'm like, this one's definitely going on the list, but I went to re-listen to it again. And I'm like, there's two songs on here I'm not really familiar with. And I listened to them and I'm just like, I don't know. But it might just because they're new and I'm so familiar with the rest of the album. But it is the Him album that's called Dark Shadows and Bright Highlights, I believe it's called. Or it might be called Brilliant Shadows and Dark Highlights, something along those lines. Fantastic album. It's so good. But yeah, there's just a couple songs that I didn't remember, and when I heard them, like this, I can't even think clearly about the quality of the song because all I'm thinking about is this getting on that list, the perfect album list. So I couldn't really dedicate the proper amount of focus to it in that moment.
Yeah.
I will go back to it eventually because I listen to that album literally all the time. But it's such a long album. I guess I didn't even realize that I never listened to the whole thing. There's one song it's called "Beautiful." It's so good. And in my head, that's the last song on the album, and it's like number 8, and there's like 16 songs on there or something like that. I don't. And also the version they have on Spotify right now has a lot of bonus tracks on it. So for this one, I'm not counting that. I didn't even listen to all the bonus tracks. I just listened to the main tracks. And yeah, there were just 2 songs on there that I wasn't familiar with. One of them, I was like, yeah, this is good. I can see myself listening to this again. But the other one, I wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah. Casey did say he's not going to be able to make it back on.
All right.
So,
well,
it's just us, the brothers,
the real brothers,
the good brothers.
Yeah. Well, do you want to just end this and go into Highlander then, and we'll save the Duck Truth for next week?
We can. I don't even have a would you rather because Casey was like, I got a good one for this week. I was like, okay. I was like, it's all you.
Dang it.
I
had one, but mine always come out sloppy, and this one was too vulgar.
You know what?
So skip it.
You know what? Just like Club Dread, I'm gonna take his, and I'll give it to you.
Okay.
And then I'll give you my answer because he was like, I really want to know what you're gonna say.
Okay.
So he might want to tell you what led up to all this off pod because I don't know if he wants any of the personal stuff aired.
Okay.
But like we were talking, and like he brought up something, and then as a joke, I was like, I guess it's better than getting shit on. And then he's like, oh, I got a good 1, 2, 3 now, or not 1, 2, 3. Would you rather? He's like, so his would you rather is, would you rather have to deal with any situation that comes up that's like bad, that's a problem? Deal with it like the shitty stuff that pops up in life that nobody ever wants to deal with. Deal with it in real life how you would, or would you rather literally just get shit on and not have to deal with that problem?
And then the problem is solved?
I think that's how he was wording it.
Wow.
So it's
I never thought that I would say this, but I would rather get shit on. I mean, there's nothing specified like where the shit has to go or anything like that, right? It just has to be on me.
Like I think he brought up it being like diarrhea and stuff like that.
And directly like onto the top of your head, or is that not specified?
He didn't get into details. He just said
like if I could just lay down and just take it like on my chest, like I'd be fine with that.
A Cleveland steamer.
Yeah.
Plop trow on my chest. 2, 3, 4.
Give it up for KG. Give it up for me. Give it up for KG. Give it up for me. What would you rather do?
I started to tell him, and he's like, "No, save it for the pod." I don't want to be shit on. I'm not lucky, and it's not that like, oh, I never deal with shit. Bad stuff never happens to me. Like bad stuff happens to everybody. But it's like the way I look at it is like the bad stuff that I do deal with, I was like, isn't the worst stuff that ever happens. It's like I deal with it. And then because so far I'm still alive and everything ended up being okay in the end, I was like, I'd rather deal with the bad stuff and then come out, because then I feel like, hey, I did something, I accomplished. I got past that. I accomplished something. I made it out better.
I get that. I did think of a question though that might modify my answer. Is that every single problem has to be dealt with that way? Like I got a hangnail and I can't just clip it if I want to. Like I have to get shit on and then the hangnail's gone.
That I'm not sure. I think it's just like the shit that's going to really affect your life, or just the shit that you like really hate.
Like if my car takes a crap, head gasket blown, it's gonna cost thousands to repair. I get shit on and that's fixed.
Yeah, I come shit on you and now your car's fixed. with no money to you. I just
Okay,
shit
yeah,
on
I'm
you.
in. I'm in. If I get to pick and choose when I want to use that as a problem solver, 100% I'm in.
I don't know if you get to pick or choose. I think it's you either pick that and you're always just getting shit on for your problems, but you're never dealing. The only thing you're dealing with is washing yourself off after the poop.
So I don't get to pick, but it does have a limit, a line of a problem. Like any problem that's less than this, you have to deal with. Anything above it, shit on.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Hmm.
He didn't
All
get
right.
too much into detail with that, but
Well,
it was.
we'll have to ask him about it next week.
And he's gonna have to.
But yeah,
He's gonna have to come back and listen to this to hear the answers, Mister.
yep, you're gonna
I
have to
don't
listen to the
listen,
full episode on Friday.
Mister. I don't listen to it because I don't like hearing myself.
Yeah,
Nobody
it is.
likes
It
hearing
is
themselves.
weird. It is weird. Like I don't know, something about the way that the camera mics pick it up. But yeah, he sounds weird as hell.
Yeah, he does. It's worse when when you're in person with him. Have you ever?
We sound fine. We sound exactly like we hear ourselves. So
It when we first started doing the podcast and I was having to the original podcast,
mm,
I didn't hear myself a lot until we started
mm,
doing that, and then I'd have to go in and edit and listen for levels, and I was like, I hated the way I sound. I was like, I don't sound like that at all. And I was like,
mm,
it took I was like, no, that's exactly how you sound. That's how everybody else hears you. You just don't hear
yeah,
you that way at all. Because you got the extra bass
yeah,
in your
yeah,
throat reverberating in your ear. So I was like, you sound way deeper to yourself than that. And then
yeah,
when I
yeah.
listen,
Everybody sounds deeper to themselves. Yeah.
it was like at first I was like, I hate how I sound. It's very monotone and it's very I don't know, not nasally, but nasally, I guess. It's
Mm-hmm.
just monotone. But
Mm-hmm.
I've never really talked with excitement. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll discuss that with Casey next week. But I do need to pick my movie though for next week. Also, we're in the sci-fi horror genre, so I'm going to pick the movie Meg.
Internet froze, kind of. Like I could see and hear you, and it took a moment for me to unfreeze, but I am back. So the last thing I was asking was I don't know if you heard it. I just asked who do you think would win in a fight between Megan and Chucky?
I think Megan's got more dexterity. Um, she might have the upper hand, but at the same time, she is artificial intelligence, whereas Chucky is a real person and can think like a real person. Um, oh wow, that's a good question. I guess I would probably go with Chucky, but he just has a longer track record for me to base that on, you know. So
Yeah,
Megan comes out with a handful more movies and she's slaying people left and right, then she might get in there.
yeah. Because it's hard to say. Is like, 'cause she did get taken out,
Hmm.
right? Kind
I
of.
don't remember. It's been a minute since I watched it. Watched it twice whenever it first came out, but I haven't watched it since. So
It's one of
I'm looking forward to
those.
watching it again.
It's one of those where it's like, oh, she got taken out, but did she?
Oh yeah, well yeah. I mean, Chucky got taken out at the end of every movie, pretty much
Yeah,
too. At the end of the second one, he gets all chopped up, or no, he gets all melted or something like that. Um, uh, gets messed up at the toy factory, and then but then that goo that he was in or whatever that gets made into another doll, and his spirit's still in it, so he gets made
yeah,
into a new doll. Then at the end of that one, he gets thrown into a big fan blade and he gets all chopped up. That's why in the fourth one he's got all the stitches because they're sewed him back together because he got all chopped up in
yeah.
the fan.
That he did.
Yeah. So yes, I like Megan. I'll tell you that right now. But I have a huge, huge, huge issue with the first part of the movie between the opening scene and Megan being unveiled or whenever they test her or whatever. I have a huge problem with it that I want to talk to you guys about and see what you think. See if you catch it while you're watching. If you haven't watching it while thinking about that.
I will have plenty of time this week on my drives to watch it, so I will definitely have it on.
All right. All right. So what are we thinking here? Do you still want to do Highlander right now, or do you want to save that too, since Casey's not here and it's already later?
We could just save it so that way he does get.
A chance to actually watch it.
Yeah, because I know he said he didn't watch it because he wasn't sure if
Yeah.
we were doing it or not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's plan for that. Let's give him a week to watch that, and we'll put that in next week along with Megan. Maybe we'll still have that separate from the show, but yeah, we'll plan on doing that next week with him. Even though he's not in the Brotherhood, he is part of the podcast, so
For
it's only
now,
fair to have him in there. Yes, for now, unless he slips up again.
there's always something like he gets in a wreck, he's got to go. His kids are like,
Yeah, the garage door is opening, and it's always something with this guy.
the Girl Scout meeting is now here, so I got to go.
Yeah,
Got no
Same
control
old.
over his life.
You got anything else?
Oh, I got a lot on him. How much time do you got?
Oh, no, not enough time for that.
He's there's always something with this guy. I'm
Yeah.
not even sure we're half brothers. We don't even look alike.
Was there a paternity test done at any point?
Yeah, I mean it's just his mom's word that our dad banged her.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I would not put that without a test, without an official test. Yeah, might just disregard that altogether.
People say we look alike if we stand next to each other. That's why I refuse.
To stand next to him.
That's why I refuse to be on nowhere near him.
Yeah.
It's kind of like distance, like go over there.
We had similar hairstyles and facial hair and stuff. Like you said that we did look alike, me and Casey.
Do you? This is totally off topic, but I just fucking remembered it since we're talking about being alike. Do you remember the summer when we heavily got into Mitch Hedberg together, and we
Yes.
were walking around, and somebody was like, "You two sound identical," because we had kind of taken on the way he would talk.
Yeah,
And
I
we were
remember
just
that.
talking that way, and I was like, "What are you talking about? We don't sound anything alike." And they're like, "You guys sound identical," but it's because we were just fucking.
I totally forgot about that, but I remember that now. I also remember, I don't know why this made me think of this, but when we got our first apartment together. We went grocery shopping. You probably remember this.
I know. I
And then-
think I know where you're going.
we had there was like it was a like a it wasn't Section 8, but it was like a lower income apartment, and there was like bugs there or something. So we went to get like a bug spray or a roach trap or something. There was this old man in there with these pants that were pulled up all high, and he was giving us advice on which ones to use. And then I get a text. I get a text in the middle of this. That's me, you, I think Josh, and then this old man. And I get a text, and I look at it. It's from you. So I open it up, and all the text said is his bulge. I look at the old man, and my gosh, oh, what the heck he had in his pants? But it was insane.
He was packing something in there. That thing was
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, that guy. No wonder his wife wasn't there at the grocery store with him.
He was in the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll always remember that. That was really funny.
The thing that I thought about when he was sitting there telling us, like, "Oh, these are the good ones," my first thought process is like, "Why are you here buying them then? If they're the good ones and they work,
Yeah. Yeah.
why are you here buying them?"
Yeah, but if we had asked him, he'd be like, "Hey, I come here once every 5 years. It's just a miracle that you guys happen to catch me here today on my once every 5 year trip because these bombs are the shiznit, you know."
Yeah, those apartments were man, there's a term for it. It's not Section 8, but it's like a step above. Rent controlled.
Yeah.
They're rent controlled apartments.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, where they go based off of your income.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you would qualify for cheaper rent or whatever if you made less. And I mean, we were all just out of high school, and so I mean, yeah, that definitely came in handy then. Not a great place, not the worst place.
The party phase there was awesome. You'll have to tell Casey the Draven story that you told us on the other pod because it was fucking hilarious. And I was like, I wish I was there so much.
In the moment, you would not have wanted. No, I know you. You would not have wanted to be there in the moment. You would have been so mad at him, just because all the weirdness he brought into the apartment that night. There's a stain on that apartment after his antics.
I mean, you describing everything that happened made it hilarious, but I'm sure if I was there for all the in-between stuff, I'd be like, you better fucking shut this party down. I'm going to fight.
Yeah, it would have. It would not have got to the point that it got to if you were there, 100% for sure. But me and Clutch, like Josh was drunk and he was partying, and me and Clutch were just kind of like bewildered by the whole thing. We're just looking at each other like, what the hell is going on here at a certain point, Definitely at the part when actually all the drinking of the blood came in, we were just sitting at the edge of the kitchen like, what are they doing? What's happening? So yeah, I will tell that. Maybe not next week, but I will build it up to tell it.
I think we'll
keep the legend going for a little while, and until somebody else comes in here and is like, hey, I'm curious about that, then
I don't know. Part of me thinks that I would have been like you guys, where I would have just been sitting there like, is this really happening? Like,
but yeah, but up to that point, there might have been stuff in between there up to that point that you would have shut down, and that would have put the kibosh in everything.
Or
like, would you have stood for that? I mean, that was your bedroom whenever you lived there. Would you have stood for that amateur porn being shot right there next to your bed? I don't think so.
As long as it wasn't,
and the blood drinking was after that.
As long as it wasn't on my bed, I would have been.
No,
like,
it was on the floor.
No, I'm saying like if I was still living there, I was like, as long as they're not doing it on my bed, I probably would have been like.
That bedroom stank.
I was like, yeah, I'll come watch that. This got to be a little strange.
It was wild. It was wild. Yes, we'll build up the legend of it, and then I'll tell it eventually.
I don't know how long I would have stayed in the room, but I definitely would have been like, if they're like, we're gonna put on a show, I'd be like, I'll watch that.
It wasn't an announcement. It did kind of happen naturally as something like that can happen, I guess. But
yeah.
But yeah.
But as I might have stayed, but then I probably would have been like, I'm gonna go out and drink. I'm gonna go get some
Mhm.
more drinks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Oh,
go
yeah,
to Jack in the
a lot of
Box and
that
get
going
some
on.
tacos.
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
actually
go.
went to that Chinese food place that was right there that's attached to that Circle K on the corner. I went to that place not that long ago, and it was all right. It wasn't as good as it was back then. Probably
I
new owners and stuff. It's been a long time.
don't even remember it from back then.
Yeah, it's this little hole in the wall. It's like attached to the side of Circle K. It's called Mr. Wong's now, but it wasn't called that back then. I don't think.
Like I remember quite a bit from there, but there's also a lot that's just like blacked out,
Mm.
just because I started working overnights.
Yes, yes.
Because like a lot of the times when all of the parties and fun stuff were happening, I was like no longer taking part in it because I was like, I gotta go fucking work. Will you guys have fun?
That's true. That's true too.
And then I don't sleep that well in the daytime, so it's like I would spend all fucking day from morning till I got home at like 7 till like 8 o'clock at night, just trying to force myself to go to sleep and stay asleep. And
Mm-hmm.
anytime I'd wake up, I'm like, the sun's up, let's do something. No, you gotta go to work.
Yeah.
So it's like I
Yeah.
literally just slept, tried to sleep, or was at work. I was like, those
Mhm.
days all just like fucking bled into like one long ass day, essentially.
Yeah, no, yeah, I feel that. I don't know if I would have been able to survive working overnights back then.
I hated it. That's why I'll never work overnights anywhere again. I quickly discovered that I am not a night person if a party is not going on
Hmm.
to keep me going. Even if there's a party going on, there's still going to be a point where I'm like, I want to go. I've reached my limit. I'm going to go lay down. I always knew when to cut it,
Yeah.
except for the fucking turkey sandwich fiasco.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
that's the only time where it's like I pushed it, but I did that to myself.
Yeah, because you never got too out of hand or too like you drank too much and couldn't handle yourself at it. You never got to that point except for that one time
It's
with a liquor store turkey sandwich.
it and it wasn't the sandwich by itself.
No, yeah, it wasn't the sandwich's fault. It just played a big part in the
It,
end.
it was the sandwich mixed. I could tell it here because it's nothing big, but it was getting close to the 2 a.m. cutoff time. We were all drinking and we were all out of beer. And they were like, we need to do a beer run before everything closes. And I was like, well, my eyes are red. Not necessarily from drinking, but I was like, I've been up since like 6 this morning and it's now 2 a.m. the next morning. I was like, I've been up for almost a day and I've been drinking. I was like, you and I went to the Circle K real quick and I picked up a 30 pack and I was like, I can't just walk up there with this 30 pack with my eyes being red. They're going to deny me because they're going to be like, you're too drunk. So my logic was, let's get a chocolate milk and a turkey sandwich on top of this. And then when we got home, I was
Oh
like,
yeah, the chocolate milk. Yes, yes.
we
I
got
forgot about
home
that.
and I was like, well, I bought this. I was like, I guess this is dinner to kind of sober up. Not thinking like, hey, don't mix milk with alcohol. You're
Yeah,
lactose
especially since
intolerant
you're
to begin
already
with.
yes, yes.
So the milk is more what did it in. It just so happened to be like, I chugged the chocolate milk and I was like, that's good. And then I started eating the sandwich. And then the milk's like, we're not good. It's like, I gotta go to the bathroom and I come walking out and there's still like a fucking piece of turkey that I didn't know caught in my goatee. It
And
was,
you threw up again, right? Because you threw up, and then you had some of the turkey that you threw up stuck in your beard, right?
yeah.
And then you were like, "Wow," because you were grossed out by the turkey being in your beard. Like threw up all over the back of the toilet seat, and that little spot in between the toilet seat and the tank. Just strands of turkey all over the place.
But the throw up wasn't because I was like too drunk. Like when it comes to
Yeah.
drinking, I always know like, oh, I've hit it. This is where
I
we
don't even
stop.
know that you stop on purpose. You just don't ever get to where you're too drunk.
It could be a mix of being a Viking and Native American.
Mhm.
The two
That's probably it. That's it.
the two races known for fucking mass alcohol consumption.
Yeah.
It's a perfect storm in my body where it's like we need more. This is not going to affect us.
It'll only affect us in positive ways.
Yeah.
But all right,
But
I think I gotta hit it. But yes, next week we have the Megan review. We'll do Highlander After Hours with Casey, and then we will unveil the game of Duck Duck Truth, brought to us by Arlie.
via Flanagan
With permission, yes, with permission.
with permission. I didn't
All
want
right.
to be the one that just takes. I wanted to get
Yeah, I
the
know. I'm doing that, but it's not like their biggest game. They only played it one time.
I mean they do say TSD makes the world takes.
Yes, yes. So I thought I could contribute to that by just taking it. That's what I thought I could contribute to.
We'll do 1-1. They kind of cancel each other out. So
Yeah, yeah,
we're good.
yeah. It's like we never did one of their games at all.
That's how we will look at it.
Yeah, two negatives or two things that cancel each other out. Yeah, I'm good with that. Just like the asterisks from the game that Casey was protesting.
I think that's part of the reason why he really left. Because
Yeah,
he
he
didn't
just
want to deal
yeah.
with it.
He didn't want to break out crying again on live on pod, so he decided to duck into the house. Blame it on his kids.
I don't even think he got into an accident that one day. I think he already had that, and then he played it off like he was driving in his car, like this is him driving. Oh shit, guys!
Yeah, he just stepped on the brake really hard and was like, "Oh, well, gotta go."
And he just said he had his kids at his girlfriend's house, but then he's like, "My kids are at my house calling me." Are they? Are they really?
Yeah,
He's gonna be like,
okay. I'm gonna make sure I'll give you all the answers to this woke game ahead of time, just so that you'll be able to win. Okay.
sounds good.
We'll do another Final Jeopardy question where you can wager all your points.
And he'll never know because he doesn't watch this.
Yeah.
That's the ticket.
There we go.
We just
But all
wait
right.
for him to give off and give each other answers. So I'm going to give you the answer to the one, or keep wanting to call it 1, 2, 3. We can't.
Yeah.
We could, but I don't
I
want to.
thought Duck
Duck,
Duck
duck,
Truth was
go.
a great name.
Duck, duck, truth.
We just gotta actually start playing it and saying it so it sticks in our mind. Because I mean, they don't do 1, 2, 3 anymore on TSD. I wish they would bring it back. Like have a maybe on episode 600.
I think it's hard because
They just know so much about each other.
yeah.
They got to just start bringing in Tim, the record store clerk. Mrs. Five. The extended family.
They should do one where she reveals something about Frank.
Yeah, yeah, like they had Debbie Chen do. She did a Ming related one before. So yeah, that would be great. Or even have Mary Beth do one. Have Mary Beth do a Bry one. Something. But yeah, they should bring it back with some of the other town residents because they just know so much about each other. They don't have any stories they can tell anymore.
That is true.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the next episode. Got more good things coming.
Yeah. Me as well.
Maybe he'll watch Highlander this week.
Yeah.
Give him 2
Hopefully,
weeks.
because Highlander was hilarious. So I hope that he does watch it.
Before we go, did you know that Christopher Lambert couldn't speak English prior to that movie?
Really?
He had to learn English.
I did not know that, and I read all this stuff on Wikipedia, and I did not see that on there. That's crazy. I skimmed it. I skimmed Wikipedia.
Yeah, he learned he had to learn English, or at least had to learn it a lot better, because he really
Really?
couldn't speak it.
Where's he from? What does he speak?
I do not know that. I just it
Mm.
was on one of those like commentaries where
Oh,
they
okay.
just kind of tossed it out where they're like, Did you know this?
Yeah, towards the beginning of that movie when they're interrogating him, they do mention that he has a unique or unusual accent, and he does, and I guess that probably speaks more to it than an acting choice. But I
Yeah.
started thinking, I'm like, sounds exactly like he does when he plays Raiden from
Yeah.
memory, So I don't know. That's just the way that he sounds, I guess.
It's
That's his
just
English voice.
it's his American, not American accent, but the way it comes out, the way his English
Yeah,
comes
the
out in
way,
it.
yeah, his English, that's his English accent, his personal English accent.
Yeah.
All right, I'm looking forward to it. So I hope Casey does watch it. We'll be on him. We'll be on his butt to get him to make sure he watches that along with Megan. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it as well. And then we got to pick our final franchise. Do you want to do that now?
Um.
No, I don't know what mine is. So let's not. But I was gonna say, if you want to do a non-horror franchise for this one bonus spot or whatever, you can do it non-horror. And if you want to do that, I'll do non-horror as well.
Oh, I
We
will.
can have one non-horror movie on the bracket fighting its way.
I was gonna throw Hatchet on there,
Okay. Okay. So that's the one you
but
wanna fight for?
if you do want to throw one non-horror on there, we could go that route.
Up to you. I'm good either way. So
I'm
let's think about it, and we'll finalize that next week. We'll figure out what we're doing.
I would say we could leave this one horror, and then if we do more brackets in the future, we could do, open it up to
Just
other things.
any movie bracket, like any
Yeah.
franchise. Okay, yeah, I'm good with that. So I'll think of another horror. So we've revealed that your choice is going to be Hatchet. I'll pick my choice, and we'll reveal that next week, and we'll get into the game. If Casey's got it ready, he's gonna run that one. So
If he doesn't try and weasel out on us
yeah, his track record is
again.
not good. But until next week,
This is why he's only been a brother once?
yeah, for a week.
Longest
1 week.
week of my fucking life. I woke up. We recorded it on Saturday when he became the brother. No, that was the Friday show, right?
Oh, yes.
That was the Friday show. I woke up the next day because I had to go to work the next day. So I woke up Saturday. And I was like, Casey being my brother this whole week has been fucking long and terrible. It was only a couple hours at that point. I still had a full week to go. It's like it's like a whole year. Felt like a whole year had condensed down into that 1 week. It was so long.
Man, I can only imagine.
He used to come over on the weekends too.
Oh, really?
When we were kids.
Hmm.
The one bonus is I could always think back to when I used to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. You got that. You got that in the back, in the vault.
Put the wrestling moves on him because I was 6 years older. I fucking manhandled the shit out of that little kid.
Yeah, I bet.
And then he'd be like, Dad! And then I'd fucking get a paddling, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
Like, if I get a paddling, you're going to get it worse. But all right. We can cut it here and stop bragging or bagging on him.
Yeah.
I mean, he already...
Don't get me wrong. He deserves it, but...
He already is Casey, so he's got it rough already without us pointing out that he's Casey.
We'll lay off of him then for the rest of this episode.
Yeah, it's not long.
Until next week.
Bye, brother.